What we know today as the NBA began business as the Basketball Association of America on November 1st, 1946. Initially, being the all-time leading scorer in that league was a record that was measured in days, not weeks or years. As a result, that record was held by no less than 9 different players in the first couple of weeks of operation. As the league aged and more talented scorers began to stick out, the record started being held by one player for more substantial amounts of time. Who were the first men to be the league's leading scorers? How long did their reign on top last? Check out this video to find out the answers to all those questions and more. The Basketball Association of America began playing games on November 1st, 1946. That night, Ed Sadowski of the Toronto Huskies scored 18 points. That total made him the league's all-time leading scorer. In the first 16 days of the league's existence, 8 other players would claim the top spot as well. Guys such as Bob Furyk, Max Zaslofsky, Ernie Calverley, Chick Halbert, John Logan, Leo Mogis, and Kobe Gunther were initially among the league's top scorers. Then, on December 19th, 1946, Joe Fulks of the Philadelphia Warriors became the league's all-time leading scorer with a grand total of 336 points. The future Hall of Famer was the first player to hold on to the record for a substantial length of time, as he held it for more than 5 years. During Fulks' reign as the scoring king, Earl Lloyd broke the league's color barrier by becoming the first black man to play in the NBA in 1950. While it would take some time, as black players were 4 years behind white players, who had already been in the league since 1946, this event would impact the all-time leader scoring race. On March 4th, 1952, Minneapolis Lakers big man George Mikan scored 41 points against Philadelphia. This allowed him to pass Fulks, as Mikan's career point total reached 6,942 points. Not to be outdone, Fulks took the crown back only 11 days later. This would be short-lived, though, as Mikan would reclaim the scoring lead again, this time for good, on November 1st, 1952. Mikan would remain the record holder from that point for nearly 5 years. Fulks retired following the 1953-54 season with 8,003 career points. Mikan retired at the same time, leaving the game with a career total of 9,766 points. Mikan attempted an ill-fated comeback in the 1955-56 season, then retired for good following that year. At that point, Mikan was still the league's all-time leading scorer with 10,156 points. However, that all changed on October 23, 1957, when another big man, Easy Ed Macauley of the St. Louis Hawks, took the record from Mikan. Macaulay's career total reached 10,166 points. Macauley had very little time to enjoy his crown, though, because he only got to wear it for 39 days. That's because on December 1st, 1957, Dolph Schayes of the Syracuse Nationals took over as the league's all-time scoring champ, setting the new standard with a total of 10,391 points. By the time the 1961-62 season rolled around, the former all-time leader George Mikan had fallen down to 11th place. Meanwhile, a name that would become all too familiar had now made it into the top 15 scorers of all time. Wilt Chamberlain. On December 11, 1963, Bob Pettit of the St. Louis Hawks relieved Schayes of his number 1 spot, as Pettit now had 18,373 career points. At the same time, the unstoppable Chamberlain had worked his way up to 5th place on the all-time list. Pettit would hold the record for a little over 2 years. On February 14, 1966, Chamberlain caught Pettit, as his career scoring total reached 20,884 points. Wilt continued to build on that total, and he reigned over every other player in NBA history when it came to scoring for 6,625 days. That meant that he held the record for the rest of the 1960s, all of the 1970s, and the first few years of the 1980s. All told, Wilt was on top for over 18 years. We're going to take a time out from our story to ask you to like, subscribe, share, comment, hit that notification bell, and repeat when it comes to our videos. Now, back to our story. As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and so it was that on April 5, 1984, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar of the Los Angeles Lakers broke Wilt's record by scoring his 31,421st career point. Before he retired, Abdul-Jabbar would score almost another 7,000 points. This brought his career total to 38,387 points. Kareem's reign at the top would be even longer than Wilt was, as he held the record for more than 14,000 days. Meanwhile, the man who would eventually break that record, LeBron James, was just now being born later the same year that Kareem broke Wilt's record, on December 30th, 1984. On October 29, 2003, an 18-year-old LeBron James made his NBA debut, scoring 25 points in the game against the Sacramento Kings. At that point, after the game, he was 2,709th on the NBA's career scoring list. Then he began his slow climb towards the top of the scoring chart. On January 21, 2006, LeBron scored the 5,000th point of his career. He was the 634th player in NBA history to score at least 5,000 points. A little over 2 years later, on January 27, 2008, James scored career point number 10,000. At that point, he was 283rd on the all-time scoring list. The next year, in 2009, he moved into 200th place on the scoring list. On November 22, 2010, LeBron passed Hall of Famer Artis Gilmore for 100th place on the all-time scoring list. In 2012, LeBron passed Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas for 50th on the career scoring list. 2016 would prove to be a big year for LeBron as he passed 3 Hall of Fame big men on the all-time scoring list. On November 5th, he passed Hall of Famer Hakeem Olajuwon for 10th place. On December 9th, he passed Hall of Famer Elvin Hayes for 9th place. And on December 17th, he passed Moses Malone for 8th place. Not wasting any time, a little over 3 months later, James also passed Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal for 7th place on the career scoring list. On October 27, 2018, James passed Dirk Nowitzki for 6th on the career scoring list. A little over 2 weeks later, LeBron would pass Wilt Chamberlain for 5th on the career scoring list. On March 6 of 2019, LeBron passed Michael Jordan for 4th place on the scoring list. The following year, on January 25, 2020, James passed Kobe Bryant for 3rd on the career scoring list. Unexpected emotion was added to this event because one day later, Kobe, as well as his daughter Gianna and 7 other passengers, would perish in a helicopter crash. The last tweet that Bryant sent before his passing read, quote, "Continuing to move the game forward at King James. Much respect, my brother. Hashtag 33,644, unquote." On March 19, 2022, James passed Karl Malone for 2nd on the all-time scoring list. Then finally, on a climb that began almost 20 years before, LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the number 1 spot on the all-time scoring list. This ended the nearly 4-decade run for Kareem as the record holder. Abdul-Jabbar was on hand to pass the torch on to LeBron. As of April 9, 2026, LeBron James has an all-time total of 43,368 points. Of course, he's still the number 1 scorer in NBA history, and he has opened quite a gap between himself and the man that's now in 2nd place, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It looks like LeBron will hold his record for a while. That's going to do it for our look at the list of the origins of the leading scorer in NBA history, the way it moved from one man to the next, and it has ultimately wound up in LeBron James's hands for the foreseeable future. Is there anybody out there that you think has a chance to catch LeBron? Or do you think he's going to hang on to this record for a long time? Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for coming to check out our video. We appreciate you taking time to do that. We hope that you've seen enough in this video to where you'll not only take a look at the videos that we've already produced, but that you'll also subscribe and come back and watch any videos that we make in the future. Thanks again for coming to check us out, and see you soon.